Is it overrated? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Is It Overrated? And today we look at the sound that is dubstep. Dubstep. Oh yeah. This is a musical genre. It's relatively new. And it is happening. It's funky. It's fresh. It is white hot right now. Dubstep is in. It is the shiznit right now. But is it overrated? Is dubstep overrated? Let's talk about dubstep right now. Now, dubstep began way back in the 90s. You know, a lot of people don't really understand the history of dubstep music itself. It's an electronic dance, predominantly originated in South London, the UK, and it goes all the way back to the late 90s. The dubstep back then was a little bit more different. It was a lot more experimental sounding. I would say a bit more industrial sounding. There's a bit more of a darker theme to it. More instrumental based. It's basically just sounds like remixes of two-step music, garage music, mixed with some elements of breakbeat, drum and bass. Now, in the early 2000s, there were certain influences on dubstep, because the reason that people call it dubstep to begin with is because it's like dubbing over the music. You know, there's sort of this. It's a strange term anyway, like dubstep. Like who's actually heard of that term? Like actually use it in a normal everyday use. Like you hear hip hop. Oh yes, hip hop. Oh, that's rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's techno. You know what I'm saying? That's funk. That's jazz. You hear dubstep, you're like, dubstep? What is that? I ain't heard of dubstep. I don't even know what that is. But the thing with dubstep music too is that it's everywhere. Everybody's using it now. Everybody's using it as a theme song. When you have the WWE, for example, showing a promo of their WWE network, this is basically a channel, and it's all in dubstep, and it's got the electronic sound and the dubstep noise and that style of music, you know you're mainstream. Because when people are trying to make money off dubstep, you know, advertising their products using dubstep music, they're using dubstep soundtrack, they're putting it in video games like Saints Row the Third. That's huge. You know, dubstep is in. It's mainstream. It's commercial now. Now, it's because of the. It's honestly to me, dubstep just sort of came out of nowhere. It just sort of blew up. You know what I mean? Like, everybody just started using it. And I blame the freaking DJs. It's all because of these stinking DJs making these dubstep records. And it's all about the wobbly bass. It's got this extended bass note. And it's got this rhythmic, like, manipulation to the style of the bass. Now, the style of the bass is basically produced. They use this low-frequency oscillator that basically creates this. The synthesizer sort of gets. It sounds weird, like the volume. There's a distortion in the sound, and then there's like a filter cutoff. So the end result is this weird timbre that's kind of punctuated by rhythmic variations in volume, filter cutoff, or distortion. So it's got this. That kind of wow, you know, it's almost like, yeah, it's that bass line, but it's kind of reverberated in a strange, weird, stretched, kind of like an echo, but not really an echo. It's more of a, if you can imagine it as a ripples of water, it's like weird, you know, non-patterns of water that sort of goes in a strange, you know, strange waves, you know, like different waves of lines. You know, it's like wow, 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 wow. Like notes would be stretched out to sound even more exaggerated. It's basically there's variations of dubstep, especially in like clubs now. These freaking clubs are using dubstep a lot more. There's the bass drop. There's the there's an intro. The intro is usually very melodic. It's this like really soft, like like piano keys, like or like the synthesized. It's not hard. It doesn't sound hard at all. And then there's the main section that has the bass drop. The bass drop is basically where I call it like where it kicks in. That's the kick, where it goes like it's got that melodic soft shit, and then the bass drop. That fuck where it goes off, and it just fucking, it's like the bang in the fucking song, the big bang. That's what it should be called, the big bang in the fucking dubstep song. There's a mid section, and then there's another main section that's kind of like the first, and then it's got another drop, and then the outro. The outro is it tends to be very soft as well, like just kind of like the intro. So it's like ding 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 ding. So the thing with this freaking style of music, it's everywhere. Everybody's using it. Everybody's doing it. I'm just wondering if dubstep is overrated. I mean, it's red hot, it's white hot right now. Not even red hot. It's white hot. Everybody's using it. Everybody wants to make their own little dubstep remix. And there's another thing: dubstep remixes of old songs. I think they're okay. Some of them are good, and some of them sound like shit. I mean, I was just listening last night to this Bring Your Own Bomb song by BYOB, song by System of a Down, and it was a dubstep remix, and it sounded like fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? It was just dreadful. It was completely electronic. It was like pop synthesized bullshit that was completely out of the spirit of that crazy heavy like rock, the kind of the raging theory that is System of a Down. It was just so far removed from the faithfulness of the original song that it fucking sucks so bad. And then on the other hand, you have some pretty decent, pretty listenable songs. I listened to stuff like Till I Collapse by Eminem. That was a remixed dubstep. There's a remix of that on YouTube. You want to check it out. It sounds pretty good. I mean, it actually, I think it works a lot more with hip-hop songs and rap, actual rap music, and that style of music where there's a lot of bass anyway. There's a lot of bass. There's a rhythm. There's a simplicity to the beat. It's a repetitive beat, like boom, 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 boom. Boom. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot easier to make a dubstep record out of compared to something like hard rock or heavy metal. But on the other hand, speaking of heavy metal, let's talk about new metal. Korn. If anybody did it right, it was Korn. Korn had a new record, and it was all dubstep, fused with like the new metal instrumentals, the new metal hard rock heavy metal type of sound. It fucking sounds brilliant. I love that album. It's amazing. It's definitely some of Korn's best work. Korn was one of the best new metal bands from like the 90s and even the early 2000s. They kind of fell off a little bit in the mid 2000s. They had this album called See You on the Other Side, and it fucking sucked. It had like one or two good songs. So they fell off for years. They fell off for a while, and then they came back with this dubstep / metal, it's like metal step, I guess, record, and it sounded really fucking good. It had production. Basically, the beats or the remixes were made by dubstep artists. I think Skrillex is one of them. And we're going to talk about Skrillex a little bit later, because Skrillex is probably the most prominent dubstep artist right now. He's really, really popular. But this Korn album is really good. It sounds amazing. Jonathan Davis's vocals over the record is awesome because he has a really unique voice anyway. I love his vocals. So when you hear him in this electronic style, it's very refreshing. It's brand new. It's a breath of fresh air. Really good record, you know, really good stuff. All right, so yeah, I mean, it's almost like you can make a remix out of anything with dubstep. I mean, any song, you know, pop, rock, hip hop, or at least I should say, people will attempt to make a dubstep remix out of every single song. Any genre, you know, they think that they can make a dubstep. I mean, I bet people would make a fucking dubstep remix to Mary Had a Little Lamb. You know, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Little, little lamb. You know what I mean? That's what I'm fucking talking about. And you know that was fucking dope. Just fucking admit it. Shut the fuck up, man. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? But you was feeling that. But let's talk about what's his face? Skrillex. Alright, Skrillex. And the reason I want to talk about Skrillex is because he's really popular. This kid is young. He's a new artist. This guy was born in 1988. This guy is a youngster. His real name is Sonny John Moore. He's American, I believe. He was born in he had origins in Los Angeles, California. He does dubstep, electronic, house music, glitch music. I don't know what the fuck is glitch music. Can somebody explain that to me? What is glitch music? It sounds retarded. Post-hardcore and metalcore music. Yeah, I mean, he's done songs with, like I said, Korn. He did songs with deadmau5, Cascade, From First to Last. He had so his solo career began in 2007, and this guy, he had like 3 demos. He had Signal, Equinox, and Glowworm. Now this guy is doing tours now. You know what I'm saying? He's going overseas, going to Europe, doing his fucking thing. He's got a whole act based around him. Meaning he's now considered an artist. He's a musician now. So back in the 90s, electronic performers and producers would be like The Prodigy, people like Moby, people like, Basement Jaxx, and so many others. And all these DJs, there's so many DJs, different DJs that had their production and their mixes and releases and club hits and anthems and all that stuff. Alice DJ and all that shit. The Rude, I could go way back. Kraftwerk, I mean, obviously Kraftwerk, one of the most popular electronic, current artists. But the thing with Skrillex is that he's a dubstep producer. He's doing remixes of all kinds of different songs. He's done all these different mixes, all these different fucking things. I don't know. I mean, is dubstep overrated? Do you guys think that dubstep is overused, overdone? Is it way too mainstream now? Is it cool to still like dubstep? Because there's some people out there who might have liked dubstep because of its underground style. Because dubstep is really like a remix electronic style of culture. All these little genres, these electronic genres at one time used to be underground or just club-based music, but you never hear it outside of the clubs or outside of the independent circuit. Jungle music, drum and bass, techno music, rap way back in the early 80s was considered underground, and the mainstream didn't want to touch it. It wasn't being played on the radio. It wasn't being played on the music video channels. Now dubstep is everywhere. I'm sure dubstep used to be very underground, especially in the late 90s, I should say, in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was more like DJ based. So I want to know how you guys feel about dubstep. Do you think it's overrated? Do you think it's overdone, overhyped? Is everybody trying to do too much dubstep? How has it contributed to the DJ culture? Is it ruining DJs and turntablism? I've spoken to some people who are in the DJing, DJ battling circuit, DJ competitions, you know what I'm saying, the DMC World Championships, and what I'm getting now is that people in these DMC DJ championships are now doing a lot of dubstep style of music, as opposed to the more raw, real hip hop of the 80s and the 90s, the real scratching. People did that, you know what I'm saying, that scratching. That stuff is like being phased out in favor of more the electronic dubstep, experimental, you know what I mean? That kind of weird fucking style of music. So let me know what you guys think. In this video, this is how it's gonna work. Give this video a thumbs up if you think dubstep is overrated. Thumbs up if you think it's overrated, and thumbs down if it's not overrated. So if you don't think it's overrated, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you think about dubstep. Who are your favorite dubstep artists? Who are your favorite your dubstep songs? Which one's your favorite songs right now? And if there's any songs that you want to hear a remix of dubstep to, which one would it be? As far as my personal opinion on dubstep, I think it's pretty dope. Like, most of it is pretty cool. It's very experimental sounding, which I like. I always appreciate music, especially like fresh, new styles of music. I always like it. And because it's got this kinship with electronica and hip-hop, and it's basically a bass music. I've enjoyed bass anyway. There's a lot of like hip-hop heads out there who like bass rap. So bass rap is basically rap, but it's more about the actual bass of the beat. There's more of that. It's more centered around that bass culture. You find this a lot in the South. So Southern hip hop fans, they like that kind of style of rap, bass rap. But dubstep is definitely a unique kind of thing. I enjoy most of it. It does get annoying though, in terms of like if everybody starts doing dubstep, every single artist, every single singer, everybody's doing dubstep, then it gets repetitive, it gets generic, it starts to sound generic and repetitive. It's the same shit over and over again. Then it gets kind of boring, and there's really no innovation there because it's the same shit. Everybody's doing the same thing. So I think right now we're at the peak. We're at the peak of dubstep. We're hearing it. It's everywhere. It's in video games, music videos, commercials, advertisements, everywhere. Right now we're at the peak of dubstep. I don't know how much longer this is going to go on, because I think the dubstep will probably start to mellow out. It'll start to it'll have its own fan base, kind of like how drum and bass has a fan base, and techno music in general has a fan base. But this is probably like the mainstream appeal. It's sort of hitting that peak right now, and maybe 10, 15 years from now, people are going to look back on dubstep and are going to be like, what the fuck? Why did we ever like this shit? Like, what? Why is this? This is fucking trash. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's just my personal opinion on it. I like dubstep, but I think that too much dubstep can fucking suck balls. So, let me know what you guys think. And until next time, do not overrate. Peace.